Proletarians of all countries unite. We are the same blood, you and I. In the name of Perun, greetings to all. Let's continue. The fourth chapter, forgery of popular elections. And here, in bourgeois democracy, everything is arranged in such a way as to build and deceive. What does democratic suffrage consist of? It consists in the fact that all citizens, taken individually, each upon reaching a certain age, have the right to participate in voting and elect their representatives or deputies to various state dumas, constituent assemblies, parliaments, seims, chambers, or whatever they are called. True, this right was not immediately obtained by the people. The rich, landowners, bankers, and manufacturers were so afraid of allowing the working people to participate in state administration that only after a series of revolutions and uprisings did the poor population manage to get universal suffrage. At first, only the rich and noble, or the older ones by age, or only men or citizens meeting various special requirements and conditions were allowed into these dumas and parliaments. The rich classes were very afraid that if all the working people were allowed to vote, since there are more of them than rich, they would elect their deputies, and the latter, having formed a majority in the Duma or parliament, would pass laws that would be beneficial to the poor against the rich. And the poor also believed that they could indeed send so many of their elected representatives to all these dumas and parliaments, and through them seize all power, that they strove with all their might to achieve this universal right to elections to the chambers. And what happened? After many and immensely heavy sacrifices, the poor and the working people achieved that they were all or almost all granted the right to elections to the highest state chambers or dumas, where laws are passed. But here, in the most surprising thing, no significant changes occurred in the composition of Duma and similar representatives. And still, despite the fact that the majority of voters belong to the poor, the deputies or representatives elected by them hold the hand of the rich and pass laws against their own electors. One may ask, how could this happen? How did the people's representatives dare to turn against the people themselves and side with their enemies? To understand this cunning mechanism, it is enough to look at how elections are held in such democratic republics as the most advanced of them, the United States of America. There, the businesses of deceiving the people is organized, one might say, exemplary. On the outside, everything in America is arranged so that it may seem to the people that they are indeed electing themselves, and moreover, by their own will. And they elect everyone, starting from the local policeman and judge, ending with the all governors, deputies, senators, and the head of the republic, the president. Every day, one might say, they are only doing what they are electing someone. But now the question arises, how are these elections organized? According to the testimony of scholars who have studied American orders, the matter proceeds as follows. All elections in America are in the hands of two unions of large capitalists who maintain their representative parties, respective parties. One party is called the Republicans, the other the Democrats. There is no essential difference between them, except for some individual points on which their capitalist masters disagree. Each party has its own prepared group of people intended for all necessary positions. Each has huge money, thousands of newspapers and magazines, and whole swarms of specially trained hired writers, shouters, orators, and agents who are well paid for conducting the elections. At the heat at the head of such a party stands a special committee, Ring, and this committee is autocratically and irresponsibly managed by one person whose name is kept secret and who is called the boss. So when elections are coming up somewhere in America, this whole machine is immediately set in motion. Voters are bombarded with newspapers and leaflets, defended by speeches, plied with wine, bribed with money and anything else, and brought to such a state that they themselves cannot understand anything and are forced to blindly follow to hired shouters who conduct the necessary elections for the capitalists. Colossal amounts of money are spent on each election, but the people's representatives in America serve the devil more willingly than their electors. However, not only the elections are arranged in America so that no outsiders can slip through. As in other democratic republics in America, elections are held for a long term. The elected representative does not answer to the electors until the end of the term, and in most cases, they do not leave their right to recall him or take away his title in case of his most vile betrayal. We see a similar picture in the other republics where the power of capital remains inviolable and dumas and parliaments are filled with either hired liars and chatterboxes or fools who cannot how they are being led by the nose. However, it must be said that gentlemen, intellectuals, especially lawyers, newspapers, writers, and officials, sincerely support all these dumas, assemblies, and parliaments, as for them the title of deputy is an excellent road to wealth, honor, and fame. Thank you for your attention. The power is in proletariat truth.